moment, opening of a live stream. It is good to be together. I love hosting live transmissions in this room. It has a special energy cultivated through, years now of meditation, rituals, contemplation, prayers. So I wanted to come on here today in this live stream to share with you the excitement in my heart about the discoveries. Well, I'm playing the most powerful frequency, 963. Countless miracles whenever you listen to this frequency. Okay. Just want to make sure. It's working. Greetings, dear souls. Okay, it's working. I wanted to share with you the frequencies that I listen to all the time. You know, there's these divine vibrations that are called solfeggio frequencies. And because sound is an original healing technology, anytime I desire to align, bring into coherence my vibration, I will go straight to solfeggio frequencies on YouTube and listen to it and allow the music to carry me away and to awaken greater levels of remembrance, because this is what this journey is about. This entire human journey is a beautiful experiment, and adventure of consciousness. This is a journey of forgetting of who we are on the level of the soul for the joy of remembering, right? That's why we're here. That's why we keep plunging, keep taking another incarnation to remember ourselves in a new way. Every single life is unrepeatable pattern, unrepeatable destiny, unrepeatable experience. This lifetime is so unique because there is a great unveiling that is happening, and never in the time of history of humanity or life on this planet we have seen such accelerated unveiling. Take a look at psychedelic renaissance that is happening right now, and all these beautiful healing plants that used to be so incredibly hard to access. You had to go into the depth of the jungle, risk being bitten by a crawling creature, right? Risk getting a parasite. This was a huge ordeal, and even if you get to South America, a shaman would not even let you drink any visionary plant. The shaman would drink itself just to see into your aura and to see the blockages and the soul wounds and help you heal those and purge those out. It's only recently, just a few decades, that we have an incredible privilege of accessing psychedelic plants directly, because the plants make themselves available to support the healing of the human collective. Let's take a look at archaeological discoveries. And we have learned in the last 70 years more than we have learned in the last 500 years about the history, or let's just say her story, of origination of our life on this planet, and who the most ancient civilizations, what was their cosmology, what was their way of life, what were their values, all of these discoveries. The earth itself is opening up and revealing her treasures, because the time to remember is now. I don't know who is here with me. Oh, I can check comments. Hello, darlings. Hello. It's actually a full moon today. It's a full moon and eclipse. It's a full moon and eclipse. So I am feeling this ecstatic joy in my heart that no matter what is happening in the world, we actually have a lot of contrast, a lot that is happening in the world. And I was listening to an incredible video by Greg Barron. Greg Barron? Yes. And he was talking about 22 wars are happening on the planet right now. And the biggest war that is happening on the planet right now is a psychological, spiritual war that is the war for our divinity. And the way he said it just really moved me so deeply because when people are not connected to their divinity, they don't believe they have the power, they have the inner resources to transcend their human limitations and to create new future for themselves. And of course, so many of us forgot about our divinity because we come to the planet that has been under this spiritual quarantine, that have been surrounded by three-dimensional false matrix of fear and separation. And our DNA has been disconnected, so we begin our journey with just 20% of our potential. But the journey of remembrance and the journey of awakening is a journey of choice. To say, you know what, there is more. There is more to me. There is more to who I am on the level of the soul, and I choose to remember. I choose to remember where I come from. I choose to know what is the true meaning for this human adventure, human experiment, human experience. I choose to know. I choose to remember. And when we make that choice to remember, we ignite something at the core of our essence and the memories begin to come up. The process is individual to every person, right? Unique and individual to every person. Some people prefer accelerated ride, right? Some people prefer to take a bicycle in life and say, you know what, I really enjoy this journey and I'm gonna explore my journey and I'm gonna use this bicycle and then I would outgrow the bicycle and then I'm gonna start maybe taking a small car. Other souls who've been on this planet for many cycles come in and they say, give me a jet. I want to activate all my pathways, all my memory circuits. I want to connect to my multidimensional nature. I want to activate the strands of my DNA and I want to activate all the levels of my being. I want to know on a level of direct experience that I am a multi-layered being stationed in multiple levels of reality and dimensions. And that means that I receive solutions to any human challenges from the quantum field itself. This is why I love, right? Welcome, darlings. Good to have you on this day of Saturday. Day of Saturday. And anyone who's gonna watch this as a replay on all my other channels, hello. My name is Katerina, and it is a deep joy for my heart to be of service to anybody who is drawn to these topics, the topics of ancient memories, of the nobility of our ancient lineage, and how we can connect to that lineage through our soul essence, taking these soul travels so we remember who we are. And that remembrance gives us confidence and vision to empower us to go forward. If you have been fascinated by these few things: ocean, dolphins and whales, crystals, and everything connected to activating your DNA, your spiritual DNA. Quite possibly, you have a soul connection to the Atlantean civilization that have existed on this planet. And this was the civilization that has reached incredible heights, not only developing the potential of their higher mind, but also the potential of living in harmony as the civilization. They were the last civilization that have activated the fullness of their DNA collectively. Now let's go even earlier. Lemurian civilization, or civilization of Mu. I just posted archaeological discoveries. You can find them on my Instagram and on Facebook, about this incredible cave, the cave of 1,000 Buddhas. And this is discovery that has been made in 1925, 1920s by Hungarian archaeologist who was an incredibly brilliant scholar, spoke many languages, dedicated his entire life. Imagine making those pilgrimages where the transport that we have right now was not available. And he made a lot of personal sacrifices to reach those destinations, moving through China and arriving to Tibet and meeting this Tibetan monk who told him about the discovery of hidden chambers in the caves of thousands of Buddhas that they have been preserving and cultivating. And there was a hidden chamber. And in the hidden chamber, there were so many scrolls of the books. There was an entire library that have not been seen by any humans for 800 of years. We will hear more and more discoveries like this, where the earth, Pachamama, the Mother Earth, gives us her treasures to help us all remember collectively about who we are and where we're going. And in that hidden chamber in Tibet, not only they found Diamond Sutra. If you're not familiar with Diamond Sutra, it is one of the most exquisite sacred texts, truly a blueprint for awakening our consciousness. It has been translated by many scholars. The one that I resonate the most is translated by Stephen Mitchell, who is a husband of Byron Katie, another teacher that I deeply love and resonate with her teachings. So in that cave of 1,000 Buddhas, they have found a map, a scroll that not only had a map but a description of the lost civilization of Atlantis and Lemuria. And when I am guided to these archaeological discoveries, I am so elated because I want to give that a voice. There is millions of people on this planet who are remembering things that they cannot explain. And when you're rapidly accessing your past life memories, or the memories that are hosted inside your DNA, it can feel isolating. It can feel like you're going between two dimensions. And in some cases, if you are not grounded in the body, if you don't have clear spiritual practice that helps you stay in the body while you're activating your higher level bodies, it can almost feel like you're losing your mind. And the reason why I want to give this a voice, so if you ever experience huge eliminations of who you are in your parallel incarnations and you wonder if you're losing your mind, if you're losing your sanity, my guidance is ground in the body, journal about your experience, integrate, talk to your guides who can help you integrate. And also know that you're not losing your mind. You are remembering who you are and the great lineage and heritage of our ancestors who are connecting to us through the sixth dimension and the fifth dimension. I find these times to be alive are incredibly powerful, enigmatic, and deeply, deeply pregnant with potential. You know, when I study quantum mechanics and quantum physics, the writings of David Bohm, and how they talk about, you know, that this visible reality is an echo of the substantial reality that is called unmanifest, the quantum fabric that informs everything that we see on the visible. So, this visible world is an echo of the invisible world. And this is a confirmation of everything that we learn if we dive into the mystery teachings of Hermetic teachings. It talks about the substantial reality that is made of consciousness. So, if we want to shift our life, we get to allow our minds to stretch to new dimensions. So we begin to make choices and find inner compass and inner navigation that is connected to our true origin, that is connected to our soul guidance and our soul mission on this planet. I deeply believe every single person who is alive right now is here to add his or her part to this collective rebirth that we are going through. And we're going to do this by opening up our own unique creative talents. Every single one of us has a spark of creative intelligence, our unique contribution to add to this evolutionary leap of consciousness. And the more we allow that spark to turn into a bigger flame, the flame of our soul, the flame of our vision, the more we get nourished by that spark. Not only we have something to offer to the world, to our community, to others, it also nourishes us and guides us. Every single one of us has a purpose, has a contribution, has a unique creative potential to unfold. You know, whenever I am around one of my allies, Andrew Saloni, I love being around him and his wisdom. You know, a person who has dedicated his entire life to spiritual path, but integrated spiritual path that is balanced with dynamic engagement with the physical life. You know, being so committed to your spiritual path and finding a way to create life on the physical plane. And he always shares this teaching every time I am around him at his gatherings, that everything we need to fulfill our spiritual mission or life task already exists, and it exists on inside of us as a potential. And our task, our beautiful, beautiful assignment is to learn how to unlock that potential, right? It's all within us. So that's exactly what we're doing, and what helps me to unlock my potential is to remember where I come from and to remember the legacy of those highly advanced civilizations that were on this planet. And yes, it can be disheartening at times to look at the state of the world and to scratch your head and to say, wow, we truly went through devolution. We have devolved. The last civilization that we have any archaeological remains is of its height is, of course, Egypt and Greece. But if you ever been to Egypt, I don't know about you, I feel really sad when I go to Egypt right now. Because to remember a past life in Egypt at its full glory that has revered the divinity of the cosmos, and to see what has it fallen to right now is a heartbreaking experience. All the wars, all the division, all the conquest, all the greed, all the suffering. One of the reasons I keep returning to Peru is because Peru is probably one of the few places on this planet where people have preserved the way of the heart and the way of connecting with nature and the way of honoring ancient temples instead of treating them as they have nothing sacredness in them. So, on this note, um, yeah, hello, beloveds. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I am sharing why it's so empowering to my heart to remember our ancient history, right? And of course, we can take Mayan civilizations and all these ancient civilizations that have reached a particular level of illumination, not only individually, but collectively. And I truly believe right now, every single one of us who is doing our part, we are the bridge to new humanity. We are the bridge. Yes, we are this transitional generation, and it's not always comfortable to be a transitional generation. I wish I could. I'm gonna be mindful of my language, but like, I'm like, ah, I wish I could come back in 500 years from now. But the reason why we're here is because we knew we were trained for this lifetime to be the transitional generation, to be the bridge. You and I, the choices that we make affect entire cosmos holographically because everything is interconnected. The more I study quantum mechanics, beloveds, there's these principles, like I love my brain works in the way that I see patterns. Maybe you can relate. I know you can relate, right? Once you give your brain a task to find patterns, you see patterns everywhere. And in the quantum mechanics, they talk about everything in the universe is driven by potential. And that potential comes from the unmanifest. So life is designed to expand and to evolve and to move forward and to progress forward. And we are part of that movement. We are part of that evolutionary curve forward. So everything in our life is driven by potential as well. Every challenge, every obstacle, every initiation, every gift, every person. And when we begin to remember, then every action that you and I take creates an impact on not only on our life but on the entire cosmos. Wow, that's a holy responsibility that gives me the sense of reverence. Every single day, did I live fully? Did I love openly? Did I make things right if I made some unconscious rushed choices, right? There's this great inquiry that awakens in me when I realize everything is impacted by the choices that I make. So, what I also love about Lemuria and why that civilization is so dear to my heart is they lived in this embodied knowing that they were connected, right? The original embodied oneness. And we are making this great return to the realization through our scientific discoveries. We're realizing that we are connected through ether, through spirit, through consciousness. And the more of us begin to realize that, the more we make different choices in our life, we become more compassionate human beings. And soon we realize our universal oneness. It hasn't happened yet, but we are a transitional generation. We are the bridge to new humanity. And I truly believe that this lifetime that we are witnessing is incredibly important because the next generation will be standing on our shoulders, on our choices, on our visions, on our faith, on our resilience, on our determination, on our compassion, and our ability to forgive ourselves and each other, and to come to this unity that can only be reached in the heart. I deeply, deeply believe in that. So, and it's also amazing when we have archaeological discoveries that Lemuria and Atlantis did exist. Yes, you and I, who define ourselves as mystic, we already knew that because we have learned to tap into Akashic records of our soul, to stream gnosis from our parallel lifetimes, and that becomes a muscle, that becomes a compass of the soul. But when we find archaeological discoveries, it adds extra fuel to my wings, to say, yes, what I know, as on the level of gnosis, direct experience, this will never fail me. And that gives me courage to move forward, gives me courage to share this message with my community, to say that we are guided, that what is happening on the planet dramatically affects everything in the universe, all other civilizations, because we are connected to it. This is why advanced ascended civilizations such as Arcturians, Pleiadians, Hathors, Syrians, all of them, entire galactic federation, are a part of our journey. No, they cannot do the work for us, and they have been offering their guidance as kind of like galactic elders. Yes, that's how I'm gonna call them. I always call them galactic guides. Now I'm gonna call them galactic elders. Imagine that you have a galactic grandpa and galactic grandma, right? That you have known from many, many, many lifetimes. And those of us who have the heart and the mind of a child, who can open up to these other bigger dimensions of life, and who is willing to do the work of purification of our vessel, so we come into vibrational resonance with them. Let's not fool ourselves. If our body is congested, if we still eating junk, if we watch TV, if we do all these trashy things to our body, we will never come into alignment, vibrational requirement to receive communication with higher frequency beings. And also, we will never open up our channels. Our energy body is directly connected to our physical body. This is why, to awaken our energy channels, we need to heal and purify our physical body. Beloveds, this year the big difference has made in my life was letting go of wine. Some of you know I really I am a devotee of many different goddesses, but one of my favorite goddess is Hathor, right? And she's the goddess of joy and celebration and sensuality. And when I was working with Hathor, one of her ceremonial rituals is red wine. So I was really enjoying my time with Hathor. And then my Atlantean guides came through in shamanic ceremonies and start showing, your body is not in resonance. You gotta let it go. And I had an attachment. I didn't let it go right away, you know. But then this year, it just kind of fell away. It was just out of my vibration, and I feel so good, right? So this ongoing purification, maybe it's not wine for you, maybe it's something else, maybe it's sugar, right? What is that? What is that substance that is dropping your vibration? This is the time for us to let go of the crutches and learn to be with our feelings. Usually, these things that we tend to numb or tend to reach for, they are the substitute for a more um, direct experience. Is learning to feel our feelings, learning to be with our human. And when our human gets overwhelmed or frightened, instead of taking a deep breath and asking our human, how are you feeling? It's been rough on this planet. What can I do to comfort you? And your human can say, I actually want you to hold me, and you can hold yourself. Or I want a bath. I want to go on a walk, right? Our habitual pattern is, to grab that glass of wine or to grab that donut or whatever the thing is, right? Or to smoke something. And there is no judgment, absolutely no judgment in this message. It's you will it's an invitation to inquire which habits drop your vibration. And I am on that inquiry myself, beloveds. I'm on the inquiry myself. I, um, through the childhood trauma and also growing up with parents who battled addiction, there is a part of my personality that can be very vulnerable to addictive behavior. Right? Just pick your poison. I had years of battling different types of addiction, whether it was addiction to work, addiction to exercise, addiction to drugs, it's addiction to sex, all of that. So it's not an easy issue to address, right? And every addiction is a cover up for the pain we're not willing to feel. And it takes so much courage to go into that old pain and to relive it and to feel it so the pain can turn into your power, that pain can heal and show you its purpose. But that's the other bigger topic. My main message is for us to open up that multidimensional essence and multidimensional abilities that we have by birthright. We get to purify our vessel, our physical vessel, in order for our energetic antennas to come online. So we can begin to hear our galactic elders. We begin to feel the connection with the universe. I will end on this note, beloveds. I wanted to share with you that I recently met a neuroscientist, a very successful neuroscientist who uses music to help classical music to help people activate their soul dimension, right? And him and I start talking, and we immediately had this mystical connection. We start talking about these high mystical topics, and I said, well, my guides have been showing me all this year. The only thing you need to remind others is how to connect to the net, to the web of life. And my friend, neuroscientist, said, it's absolutely true. The challenges so many people have disconnected senses, their energetic wiring is not online. So even if they hear that message, they don't know how to activate their energy. It was such a huge epiphany for me. Of course, you are right. That's exactly the problem. And if our energy body is not aligned, we're easily manipulated by the collective fear, panic, worry, and anxiety, feeling that we are a separate, lost human floating in space. We are not cosmic orphans floating in space. We are divinity in form. Yes, our DNA has been disconnected. Our energy body, a lot of our energy body needs to be awakened and ignited through different practices, daily practices, breath work, meditation, visualizations, all of that, right? It's called a practice because a practice is what helps us be grounded and to remember who we are. But it is possible. So, what will you do today on this eclipse, on this full moon? What will you be inspired to do to reconnect with your inner divinity, with the pulse of spirit within you? Maybe it's going outside, putting your feetsies on the grass, and visualizing your feet chakras opening and receiving prana and energy from Mama Earth. Maybe you will feel inspired to lift your face to the sun and receive the rays of the sun and make that soul connection with the spirit of the sun and to say, thank you. I'm so grateful there is a sun in the sky. What is it for you? Maybe you'll be inspired to make an offering to the moon today and ask for Grandmother Moon's support. Whatever is nourishing you, intent on remembrance of who you are. This has been a Pleiadian message for us for 30, 20 years. Intent on awakening, intent on remembering, and you will receive. If you don't ask, you will not receive. Are you ready to remember who you really are? I am bringing you something really special next week. Stay tuned, where I'm going to go deeper into Atlantean wisdom, specifically Atlantean wisdom, because in the golden age of Atlantis, they have been known as the ultimate masters of their own reality. They did not happen to just become masters, they developed themselves utilizing ancient wisdom, quantum laws of the universe, and spiritual will to develop themselves to the higher potential. This was Katerina Satori. Thank you for joining me on this segment. May you remember you are divinity in form on this adventure of consciousness. Activate your energy, your energetic blueprint, your grid of life, your tree of life within you, and begin with intending on your full remembrance of who you are. I will be back with more transmissions of this nature. If you'd like to learn more about my work, you can find me on my website, katerinasatori.com. I also lead a monthly mystical community called Wisdom Collective, where you can be with me twice a month. Every month, I bring a new masterclass. This Wednesday, I bring transmission about Arcturians, which are galactic elders filled with so much love, advanced spiritual technology, incredible spiritual healing methods. And if you'd like to be a part of it, you can join Wisdom Collective and access that class for free. And what else I'd like to remind that I have available. If you watch this video on my Instagram, or if you follow me on Instagram, it's at katerina.satori. You can click on my link in bio. Every Instagram profile has a link in bio, and where you can see everything that I offer, free programs, and also instant access courses on a variety of topics. It would be my honor to share some of them with you. Until next time, with big love and devotion to our human journey.